and relate gold to any counterparty you want, its value remains constant. So, what we're seeing in the big rise in gold prices is an expression of the fear that the global system is failing and possibly may even collapse. It's the safety valve. But at the same time, BRICS's new currency unit, which is called the unit, will be backed 40% by gold and 60% by the currencies of its member countries.
Global gold prices rose significantly during Friday's trading session, driven by strong demand for safe haven assets amid escalating Middle East tensions and shifting expectations regarding the U.S. Federal Reserve's interest rate policy. At the close of Thursday's session, the gold-dollar pair increased by 1.36%, marking the largest daily growth in the past month. The price surged past the resistance level of $2,340, climbing to $2,360. SimonHunt, a strategic advisor on the global economy, geopolitics, China, and the copper industry, commented on the recent surge in gold prices. He attributed it to growing fears that the global financial system is deteriorating and could collapse, enhancing gold's appeal as a safe haven asset. In parallel, the BRICS group is set to undertake its second expansion effort in as many years, with 3 significant nations officially announcing plans to join the economic alliance. Over recent weeks, countries such as Zimbabwe, Thailand, Malaysia, and Colombia have unveiled proposals to join the bloc. Zimbabwe's defense minister recently expressed the country's interest in participating in BRICS, emphasizing its willingness to cooperate within the group's unique relationship. Currently, BRICS comprises 10 member countries, but this number is expected to grow to around 50 within the next 3 years. These member countries account for 38% of global GDP, approximately $40 trillion, a figure projected to increase to over 50%, or $50 to $60 trillion shortly. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin visited Vietnam this week, signing a dozen agreements with the Vietnamese government. Among these agreements is an initiative to settle bilateral trade dealings in local currencies. This visit is part of a series of diplomatic efforts by Putin following his recent landmark trip to North Korea for the first time in over 12 years. Hunt highlighted that this shift away from the dollar poses a significant concern for the United States. He speculated that the U.S. might employ various strategies, including potential military action, to counteract this trend. Join us as we delve into SimonHunt's insights. To stay updated with our latest uploads, subscribe to our channel and activate notifications. Thank you.
Gold represents true value. If you go back to as far back as you want to and relate gold to any counterparty you want, its value remains constant. So what we're seeing in the big rise in gold prices is an expression of the fear that the global system is failing and possibly may even collapse. It's the safety valve. But at the same time, BRICS's new currency unit, which is called the unit, will be backed 40% by gold and 60% by the currencies of its member countries. The member countries now comprise 10, but probably within 3 years, it will be as many as 50. So at the moment, the member countries account for 38% of global GDP, but in about 3 years' time, it'll be well over 50%. So you can, in very simple maths, you can say that 38% of global GDP, i.e. around $40 trillion, will no longer be using the dollar. Take that up in a couple of years' time to over 50%, and that's going to be $50 to $60 trillion that won't be using the dollar. So this is what America fears, and why I think they will use every trick in their toolbox to stop it from happening, even if it means war. I think these are the real reasons why, in Europe anyway, that having lost the war in Ukraine, which is very probable, the attention is switching to how can we attack Russia. And in the Middle East, Israel has been used by America as their, how do I call it, as their base for helping to control their influence in the Middle East. That is at risk. What's happening now is I think there's a 50-50 chance that a peace proposal is being worked out for a hostage and ceasefire arrangement, which, if all goes well, Netanyahu will announce in his presentation to the joint houses in Washington in July. It will be sold as a permanent deal. The probability is that it won't last throughout 2025. It will have done its job for domestic politics in America and domestic politics in Israel.
The US dollar is experiencing a pullback from its earlier gains in the Asia-Pac session, driven by disappointing economic data. Softer jobless claims and even weaker housing data have contributed to this decline. The housing sector, in particular, is showing signs of easing, with continuing claims unexpectedly rising instead of declining. This lackluster performance in key economic indicators is undermining confidence in the USD. SimonHunt, a strategic advisor on the global economy, predicts a significant decline in the value of the US dollar by the early 2030s. According to Hunt, the dollar index, DXY, currently around 105, could drop to 50 by 2030. This anticipated decline reflects the dollar's depreciation relative to other currencies. However, it is crucial to recognize that all fiat currencies will likely devalue in real terms over time. This projection underscores the enduring value of gold as a haven asset. Let's get back to the interview.
I think that by the early 2030s, the dollar's value will be halved. If you take the dollar index, which is now around 105, it will probably be 50 by 2030. Yeah, but the other currencies are only rising as a reflection of the falling dollar. I mean, all fiat currencies in real terms will be collapsing, which is why gold retains its value. This is another war that's going on in that Russia and China are offering to developing countries, including Turkey, come join us and you can get rid of your debt and we will refinance it. What is also happening on the American side is that they are going around offering low interest, easy credit. I know one country that's renegotiating its debt, and this is what is being offered to them by the IMF/World Bank, which is basically America. So there is behind the scenes this financial war going on. Who's going to win? I think the Western world has come into this game too late, misunderstood what BRICS was up to, and now is running scared that they will lose their dominant role in the world. If you look at how successful was the St. Petersburg conference, 133 countries, lots of deals done, lots of backroom talk, further solidifying the involvement of the BRICS group of nations, 69 additional countries wanting to join. Then we had this strange G7 meeting where you had, it wasn't G7, it was the Pope, it was the heads of IMF, World Bank, OECD.
Even the head of Argentina, Milei was there too.
Yeah. And the heads of large number of countries outside the G7. And if you looked at their communique, it was It was really, this is the world that we are going to develop.
With global economic uncertainties and geopolitical tensions on the rise, coupled with significant predictions about the decline of the US dollar and the expansion of economic alliances like BRICS, what strategic moves do you believe investors and policymakers should make to safeguard economic stability and growth in the coming decade? Share your perspective in the comment section. If the video resonates with you, join our community by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications with the bell icon. Thank you for being a part of our community.